So the title says, "Why do we gossip?" And don't forget to let me know what you think. What do you think is the why behind gossiping? Why is it something we do? What how do I put it? I say it's a hobby now. Yeah. Why is it a hobby? Why do we use it as much as we use it? Those are the questions I'll be talking. Those are the things I'll be bringing up and telling you what I think about them. But let me know what you think as well in the comments. I am from a place where the Atlantic Ocean meets the tropical rainforests. A land where the peak of the Wulagisi kisses the sky. This land is filled with dreamers, where everyone is a hustler hoping to resurrect. Me, I'm Rachel Adeline, a student of history and international relations, and this is a journey to display my Liberianness. On this journey, you can call me just Rachel. Come along as we walk through the experiences and opinions of a young Liberian lady. I hope you have fun on this journey as much as I do. Preparing this video, like preparing, as in preparing things for the videos and gathering my own thoughts and writing it down, all of that, right? I want to learn about gossiping. Yeah, so in order for something to be considered gossip or gossiping, it has to be done habitually. It's not a, I don't say, yeah, one time thing or once in a full moon thing. No, you gotta do it back to back. Like every time you meet a certain group of people, you people go into it or get at it, right? Like, oh, you saw this girl, and blah blah, and it's personal too, cause it says a lot about gossiping. Says a lot about us. So another thing I learned is that it's not just habitual; it's putting out sensual and personal information about someone or people, right? So when I had that base or basic definition for gossiping, I went, but CNN and BBC does it all the time. They're like gossiping about countries and things that are happening in the world, right? But the gray area between the gossip and the news is that gossip usually involves a particular person. It's not necessarily a world issue like CNN and BBC does, right? It's usually a person or a family, or because you have put yourself in a particular place, social status, and things like that. Then you become you grab certain level of attention. Sometimes people don't ask for it. Other times people put themselves in those positions to get that attention so that they're talked about, and then say they won't be the talk of the town. So what surprised me was why they wise, right? Like every other thing, right? It's capable of sitting on a list or creating a list of pros and cons. Gossip is like one of them. Like I said, the news outlets, in a way, they bring gossip to us, but then it's global issues, so you don't classify them as gossip because those are things that we need to know about what's happening and all of that, right? But surprisingly, like I was saying, surprisingly, the whys behind gossiping are so common. People use gossip to bond with different group of people, social statuses, and things like that. And people use gossip to make them feel good about themselves, decisions they're making, and choices they're making in life. Because once you're able to go into something like that, oh, you point finger there and do that, automatically it makes you feel better about yourself, right? And another thing we use gossip for is entertainment. And I think the whole entertainment one is where we people are now able to monetize gossip. Yes, I think gossip is being monetized now. So so we use it for entertainment, we use it to bond, and then we use it to feel good about ourselves, right? You can do that by yourself, like, how do they call it? You can sit by yourself and say or decide where you put these three things or whys I'm giving you on your list, or a list of pros and cons with gossip, right? So we have those three whys. And then I think it's different depending on the situation, people, and person. So I made a friend, and like I said, bonding is one of them, right? It's hard for us to talk, or there's no conversation I want to talk about. Like, oh, do you follow the shade room, for instance, right? Surprisingly, people so, believe it or not, gossip is a social skill. We gossip to get along, to move around, and I don't think it's a new thing, right? The only thing that's new, thanks to technology or media coverage, people are able to monetize the gossiping through monetize gossiping through blogging and these different blogs and bloggers and all of those things, right? I think it's a social skill that we've used along the years of human existence, right? We find something to keep it going. During our leisure time, we want to sit back and then talk. And then we talk about other people, things that are happening. There's just different categories that we've now placed them in. But why does gossip get a lot of attention? Because of the way it's placed. I don't know if you noticed, but the more what's the word? I don't say condescending, yeah. The more condescending news is spread across, the more coverage you see yeah. So a lot of times people want things that make them feel good about themselves, and they use gossip as a way to access that. If you're on the shade room, if the shade room posts something mean, people will go in the comment section and try to make it, oh, why is the shade room like this? You always so trying to bring people down, things like that. But then they know, like, you're following, you're saying it's mean and all of these things, but then you're following it, right? You back to back on the post. You probably have your post notification on and you're back and back with every post. But then because of how good it makes you feel, you're there like, oh no, let's not do this and all of that. And most of the time when we gossip or engage in gossip, that's like the first thing, to feel superior, to feel better off than everybody else and everything else. And because of how it's becoming a routine thing or a hobby now, you have a lot more blogs and people that have been going into people's personal lives for little or no reason, just to sell something. That's all. You'll see somebody you see somebody doing something that everyone else does. Let's say get wasted, for instance. You go to a club, had too much to drink, and then and the next day you see a blog with a picture of you or video or something, and it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, other people can say where I'm from, say, am I the first person to do this, or is this person the first one to get drunk or do something like that? But then it's not about her being the first or the situation. It's about what is sold. It's about making us feel good about ourselves. Like, right? Even though it's a social thing now, we chase after it. We follow all the blogs. We follow all the latest posts. We want to know what's happening, who's doing what, why are they doing what, so that we can be able to also analyze other people's situations and then do. I will never do that. It can never be me. All of these things, right? We follow so that we can be able to analyze and make ourselves feel good. And I think we don't pay attention to it as much as we should, because we're so used to trying to go in or fit in with everything that's happening, especially the social statuses and social statuses and status quo, right? We're so consumed trying to fit in or review and analyze. We just go on with it, right? We don't entirely try to put ourselves in the situation or look at, like, our analyzing that we do when we're gossiping is just seeing and go, oh, never be me. Like, I wouldn't even put myself in this position in the first place to begin off with before the end of the day, things like that. Oh god, I hope I'm not talking too fast. And things like that. And for me, as someone who really used to gossip, right, it's strange and really hard to leave something like that, because firstly, you have communities of people that you gossip with, right? It's not, you don't gossip alone. Even though you go in people comment section and you troll them and whatnot, all that, right? But you don't gossip alone. And then if you decide like, okay, let me pay attention to what I'm saying, right? And how I'm reviewing other people's situation. If you just like sit back and say, let me do that, you'll notice that a lot of times we're not fair, right? We just jump on the first thing that comes to our mind, the first instances. But if we take our time and be true to ourselves and the situation that we're seeing, or other people, or we along us along with other people are judging for or about, we realize that it's just another thing or another situation. And once we're able to recognize and be sincere about a situation, we can also safely try to avoid putting ourselves in situations like that, like learning from someone else's mistake, one, and trying to get other people. Let's say I have a community of people that I gossip with, right? We're in this group chat, or we have group chats where we gossip in, like reposting things from blogs and all of that, right? I'm like, oh no, friend, let's not do this to this person because XYZ and blah blah blah. And you'll notice that people start calling you names, like, okay, we're bringing this here, Rachel coming to us, and then it goes on from there. And then because gossiping is another form of bonding, you feel a disconnect between you and that or those communities, right? Because you're choosing to not gossip. I'm not saying we refrain from gossiping, because we all sorry, we all go after things that our favorite people do. Let's say I follow Jackie Hill Perry, right? Love her children. If Jackie is posting something beautiful and something I think is nice, of course I share with my friends and be like, oh my god, I love her daughter's sense of humor and blah blah blah. In a way, that's gossip because it's her personal life, and she's putting out there. A lot of times the information that we get to share are things that these people are putting out, whether they want sorry, the media coverage, or they want us to know what's happening with them or in their lives. The things that they put out there, and how we spread or take in is what makes the gossip good, bad, or whatever. It's what makes the gossip, right? And if you choose to, like I was saying, look at it and then choose to select or be selective about what you say and who you say, it becomes a problem, because a lot of people want to see gossip being gossip, like gossip being juicy, the tea. If you're saying, oh, these people are enjoying life, they've been married for 20 years and I love them, blah blah blah, it's like, okay, it's boring, right? How can we give the tea, or in our group chat make this a tea and all of that? And it's the same thing these bloggers are doing, right? They're taking little or nothing and trying to make it a big deal, from the captions to the people in the comments are trying to make the gossip, tagging their friends and carrying it to the group chats and all of those things, right? And I know for a fact that gossip is not something that we can let go of. In as much as you need news to keep you updated, we have news outlets that keep us updated about things that are happening around the world. It's the same thing as gossip. It's a social skill that we use to get by, to get around. Whether I'm telling my friend, but see the new iPhone 15, and what do you think about it, all of that? Yeah, we need things like that. We needed to bond, we needed to entertain ourselves, we needed to make ourselves feel good, because sometimes we're having very bad days and then we'll do things like that. It's not the best way to make yourself feel better, but it helps, it makes you feel better. And you should be aware, or stay what's the best way to put it? You should stay alert when you're gossiping, right? Like, why do you do it? Because if you're aware, you put yourself in better position in whatever the case is. And gossiping is one. If you understand why you do it, then you can decide, like, okay, so I really want to do this if I'm only doing it because it will make me feel better, or I'll be bringing another person down, right? And then you can choose to make proper decision when gossiping. Thank you for watching.